Racing to the Breeders' Cup, presented by Thrifty Car Rental.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Newmeyer, along with Charles E. Canty and Trevor Denman. We have an action-packed 60 minutes of racing for you today on ESPN, featuring 3 races with Breeders' Cup implications. They are, beginning with number 1, the ancient title Breeders' Cup Handicap. It'll be contested at 6 furlongs, the purse $100,000. Then we'll venture to Laurel, Maryland, and the newly named Laurel Park for the DC International. That's $600,000 there. And then back here at Oak Tree, Santa Anita for the Goodwood Handicap. That for $200,000. And an added treat, our old friend the jockey cam is back. And there is Sir Hutch, and the rider is David Flores, getting us a nice shot of a pristine Southern California fall afternoon. We'll be riding with David Flores on Sir Hutch throughout the ancient title Breeders' Cup Handicap. That's the sprint race here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. We also have the Goodwood Handicap, this for older horses, and a couple of interesting scenarios to set up coming up in the Goodwood. One of them improves the now horse, and that would be Dramatic Gold. He's a 3-year-old gelding. He's suddenly come to hand, an excellent third in the Pacific Classic at Del Mar, and this smashing victory in the Molson Million up in Toronto at Woodbine. He may likely go off the favorite in today's Goodwood. But what about the mysterious Bertrando? Can he regain his championship form of 1 year ago? 6 of them in the Woodward. Speaking of that, DC International, of course, the favorite, the 2-to-5 shot Paradise Creek. He's the heavyweight champion of the North American turf distance horses, and this is a smashing win in the Arlington Million with the jubilant jockey, Pat Day. He's being held at 2-to-5 this afternoon. Joining me, Charles E. Canty. You don't see 2-to-5 shots very often in Grade 1 events, do you? But
he deserves it, Bob. He's never been better in his life. He's won 7 out of 8 this year in the best possible company, losing only one close one to his old arch rival, Lure. Plus, he's got 2 major factors in his favor today. One, this race is weight for age. They all carry 126, so he doesn't have to give away a lot of weight the way Lure did last week in his narrow defeat. Secondly, the race is 1.25 miles, and that's his absolute best distance. So anything can happen in horse racing, but he looks like he's got him over a barrel.
Well, the North American horses, anyway. We'll talk about a couple of the European invaders as we get close to post time. But as far as the 2 live races here at Oak Tree are concerned, what better man to set them up than the popular voice of Southern California racing, Trevor Denman.
The Oak Tree Racing Association's meet out at Santa Anita is always a major pointer towards Breeders' Cup Day, primarily because of where it falls in the racing calendar. It's the meet just before the Breeders' Cup, and a lot of trainers use Oak Tree races as a final stepping stone to that $10 million day. 3 of them this afternoon, Dramatic Gold in the Goodwood and Sir Hutch and Card Mania in the ancient title, are doing exactly that. Dramatic Gold was a very good third in the Pacific Classic, chasing a suicidal pace. 2 older, stronger horses weakened badly in front of him, and he did well to finish third. Since then, he's been a very impressive winner of the Molson Million up in Canada. Card Mania has been off with an injury. Trainer Derek Meredith going to try to get him peaked this afternoon for Breeders' Cup Day next time out. And Bob Baffert loves that Breeders' Cup sprint. He won it 2 years ago with 30 slews, and this year he's very high on Sir Hutch, an outstanding California sprinter. And if Sir Hutch wins this afternoon, he'll be a major contender in that Breeders' Cup sprint.
Well, Sir Hutch has had some injury problems of his own as we check out Jockey Cam and David Flores. This horse has had some problems with his feet. He hasn't raced since May, but Bob Baffert hoping to get a big one out of this horse today. Coming up, the ancient title Breeders' Cup Handicap. Event, the ancient title Breeders' Cup Handicap. The purse is $100,000. It's a Grade 3 event. It's a sprint, 6 furlongs for 3-year-olds and up with the Auto Tote current odds in the field. Here's Chelsea.
Well, it is a handicap. We have a 9-pound spread in the weights, and breaking from the rail with top weight of 121 is Card Mania with Eddie Delahousse. He is 9-2. Lightly raced 3-year-old Uncaged Fury is at 112 pounds. He's the lightweight. Alan Paulson's homebred Oh High is next. Concept Win will sit just off the pace. He's at 7-2. Sir Hutch off the layup. He is 7-2 also. Saratoga Gambler is a gamble at 30-1. The very speedy Wild Gold is 6-1, and King's Blade is a horse for a course. He loves it here at Santa Anita. He is 6-1.
A lot of speedballs in this race, and as you can see by the auto-tote odds, the fans here at Santa Anita having difficulty settling in on a favorite. You might ask how this race has impacted the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Well, with that answer, back to Chelsea.
Last year's running, the Ancient Title had produced its fair share of Breeders' Cup Sprint contenders. Names like Groovy, Olympic Prospect, and world record setter Zany Tactics. But the Ancient Title had never yielded a Breeders' Cup Sprint champion until 1993.
Card Mania and the Shadow Roll coming gamely, and then Wild Harmony and Music Mercy's coming late too. But Card Mania's kicked on. Music Mercy flying, but Card Mania's going to go on to win it. And it's Card Mania and Eddie Delahousse to take the Ancient Title.
Following the Ancient Title victory, winning jockey Eddie Delahousse shocked many observers by declaring Card Mania his mount for the 1993 Breeders' Cup Sprint, taking off 30 Slews, the horse that won the $1 million race for him the year before. And as is so often the case, Eddie D made the right choice.
Card Mania is closing, and Moon Blue, but it's still the filly holding on. Mia Fair is still there. Gilded Time. Card Mania closing powerfully. It's going to be close. It's photo finish. Card Mania flying at the end.
And here is a shot of Card Mania as he warms up this afternoon. He's wearing a little more equipment than you can see, though. He has titanium screws in his hind leg. After he made his only start this year, a victory early in January, he fractured a hind cannon bone, underwent the surgery. He's had quite a long layoff. This is his first start since then, but Derek Meredith, his trainer, feels good about his chances.
I think he's going to run very well. I've been playing catch-up with him to try to make this race, and hopefully the Breeders' Cup. I think he's going to run well. There's a lot of speed in the race, which should help me. But Eddie D always rides him well, and I've got a lot of confidence in Eddie.
And there is Sir Hutch, like Card Mania, another question mark. Problems of his own with his feet, hasn't raced since May. We asked trainer Bob Baffert, who sent out 30 Slews to win the Breeders' Cup Sprint a couple of years ago, to compare the two horses.
Comparing him with 30 Slews, this horse, I think, has the same amount of talent, but he has more, he has a bigger heart, more will to run, you know. So 30 Slews, he was a really good horse, but everything had to be perfect for him. With this horse, he'll run, you know, he'll run through different situations.
As you might expect, there is a significant amount of speed in this race for sprinters. Uncaged Fury, number 2, is an improving 3-year-old. He's 3 for 4. Don't be surprised if they hang out 43 seconds to the half mile and change. Oh high, very fast, breaking from number 3. Wild Gold was actually leading Soviet Problem. Those familiar with that fine sprinting filly knows just how fast she is. So 8 of them traveling 6 furlongs in the Ancient Title Breeders' Cup Handicap. For the call, the voice of Southern California racing again, Trevor Denman.
Oh High has just gone forward. Concept Win coming up will be second last to load. And we wait for King's Blade to come to the outside gate. King's Blade walking up on the far side. Concept Win not quite in. Right up to the gate. Concept Win certainly looks well out there. Very nice and relaxed. He's the mild 3-to-1 favorite as we laid for the last few to load. King's Blade has gone in. They're all set. And coming out the gate is Card Mania. The assistant starter has a hold of Card Mania, though, going to be returned behind the gate. Well, that's much unfortunate here. Card Mania just pushed the front of the gate open. Very good work by the assistant starter, though, held him back. But invariably, when horses do this, they do not run well. It's a known thing here in Southern California, and I'm sure everywhere else, too. When a horse breaks through the gate before the gate, about 1 in 100 come back to win. Card Mania now reloaded. They're all set, and away they go. Concept Win was off slowly. Card Mania came out well with Oh High on the far side. There goes Wild Gold in the white cap now taking over. Sir Hutch is right there too, and King's Blade on the far side. Uncaged Fury comes kicking through at the rail to be second. Concept Win has now settled down in 6th. 4 lengths off the leaders, 2 back to Saratoga Gambler, and Cardmania, who broke well, is now last, 10 lengths off the leaders. A half-mile to run, and Wild Gold is the leader with Uncaged Fury in second. Sir Hutch is third. Ojai is right there fourth, and Concept Win coming through at the rail, a joint third, 3 lengths off the leaders. King's Blade has to do better. In behind him is Saratoga Gambler, and Cardmania, not today, he's not firing. They run past the quarter pole, and Wild Gold clear now by 2.5 to Uncaged Fury. Concept Win now starts to close strongly in third at the rail. Can he get through down there? Concept Win got just enough room, and here's the long shot. Saratoga Gambler running a huge one on the outside, and Saratoga Gambler being confidently ridden by Martin Pedrosa is going to post a major upset. Saratoga Gambler romping in the ancient title from Uncaged Fury. Concept Win with a head back in third. Then came Cardmania running on well, but could only get fourth, and we have a major upset, the longest shot on the board, Saratoga Gambler in 108 and 87/100ths. Bob?
30 to 1. He was claimed for $100,000 by the crafty Bill Spa, who won the training title at Del Mar and is a veteran on the California scene. And Martin Pedrosa excels at sprint races, but normally on the lead and not from off the pace. But with Cardmania not firing, and with Sir Hutch not firing, and with the speed backing up, it was Martin Pedrosa in the black on the outside, and Saratoga Gambler making Charles E. some gamblers awfully happy.
Well, his best race is from off the pace. That early pace set it up for him, and he just sat behind him and moved through when he was ready. The horses of Bill Spar are always effective.
Martin Pedrosa and Saratoga Gambler lighting up the tote board at 30 to 1. We're just warming up, folks. We're at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. Like to play hunches and maybe have wagered a bob or two up at Saratoga Springs, New York in the past. Might have had Saratoga Gambler this afternoon. He's a Keeneland sales purchase, July of 1989, for $52,000, and those are his happy connections in the middle, a smiling Martin Pedrosa, and an off-the-pace score that has lit up the tote board to the tune of $71.40 here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. As we mentioned, Bill Spar is the successful trainer, as sharp can be. For a replay of this ancient title, let's go back upstairs to Trevor.
Watch the horse in the gold cap. He's in 6th position down at the rail, about 6 lengths off the leader. Black colors with a gold cap. Out on the lead is Wild Gold. Very fast, but he's going to drop out of it. Uncaged Fury in the red is second. Concept Win in a little tight at the rail third. But look at Martin Pedrosa now. Gold cap on the outside. This horse was almost too good to be true. He breezes by these guys like he just joined in at the quarter pole here. Martin Pedrosa are riding more polished than ever now. Didn't even think about reaching for the stick. And look at this tough old veteran stride away to a very easy win in the ancient title.
All right, we'll just maybe take another look at it.
Second place photo did stay to Uncaged Fury, and third was Concept Win. A little unlucky Concept Win. Is going to be very interesting now to see where Bill Parr goes here with Saratoga Gambler. Let's take it back down now to Chelsea.
I have 2 horses going to breed.
Well, here is Bill Spar, who just staged this major upset. And Bill, this has always been a pretty classy horse, but never at this level. What did you know about him?
Well, he had some problems in all of his races when we ran him, and he's a very consistent horse, and he tries so hard, and he just got good right now. We knew he's doing very well. Take a shot. If he ran real well here, we might run him in the Breeders' Cup.
You actually claimed him for $100,000 a while back, but today this race set up, everybody thought, for old Cardmania, but it was you who came along to pick up the pieces. You must have been smiling at the early fractions.
Yes, we were really happy. And down the backside, he was running so nice and easy, and Martin had him in hand, and I wasn't really surprised that he won.
How about a Breeders' Cup opportunity?
Well, that's our next goal. He ran so well Derby Day in the Breeders' Cup there. He had a lot of problems in the race. He lost shoes and that, and he still ran a real good race over that track. So Exchange might have a stablemate going back with her.
All right, well, good. Congratulations to you. Major upset here. We'll go back to Bob Newmeyer.
And a happy Bill Spar, why not? Saratoga Gambler at $71. This is the essence of racing, folks. Sometimes they run to the form and sometimes they don't. An unpredictable win here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. Coming up, we'll take a trip to the newly named Laurel Park and set up the DC International. Glad you could be with us. And ES still buzzing about Saratoga Gambler at $71 and change in winning the ancient title Breeders' Cup Handicap. And we'd like to tell you what's coming up on ESPN a little bit later on. Saratoga Gambler. telephone number is 7140 to win, 2480 to place. Uncaged Fury, second. Concept win after that tardy start, finished third, and a whopping exacta, well over 400 balloons here at Oak Tree. Let's go to Charleston.
Well, we mentioned earlier that it was going to be a very difficult thing for Cardmania to win a race today after this long layoff. Trainer Derek Meredith had him ready, but right from the get-go, virtually from the start, nothing went your way.
No, that's what Eddie said. He said, what went wrong, what could have gone wrong, went wrong. He said he really hit his head hard when he broke through the gate, but it was another horse that started it. So they reloaded him, and when they broke, he threw his head up, and he was very intimidated. So he was on his wrong lead going down the backside, so he just kind of sat on him and tried to let him get himself together, and then he asked him up the lane, and he ran through horse, and he finished fourth. I asked Eddie if we should go to the Breeders' Cup, and he said he got a good race out of it. He'd leave that up to me, which I'm going to wait 2 or 3 days, see how the horse came out of the race.
All right, Derek, thank you very much. That means Cardmania is still a definite possibility for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Bob?
All right, Charles, so let's shift gears as we're going to be switching very shortly to Laurel Park, newly renamed in the DC International. Let's set up the conditions of this particular race. It is on the grass at 1.25 miles, worth $600,000. It is a grade 1 for 3-year-olds and up, and to run the field for the DC International and the morning line, here's Charles.
All right, it is weight for age, as we said. On the rail is Maryland-based Red Call. And then we have a pair of European invaders, Zoman and Marildo. Another Maryland horse, Maryland Moon. He goes by his namesake. Then we have Astudillo is another American horse. Paradise Creek is 2-5, a deserving favorite. Then we have Beneficial from Europe, and then rounding out the field, a pair of American long shots, Turk Passer and Binary Light.
Well, Charles, the Paradise Creek at 2-5 is definitely the heavyweight champion of North American turf horses. He's been brilliant. He's only been defeated one time, and I think we both agree that his race in the Arlington Million really set him apart.
Well, he's just done nothing but get better and better every year he's been in training. This year has been superlative. The Arlington Million was the best that there was. I mean, he really ran right up to all his expectations that day, and it sets him up perfect for today.
And a couple of interesting European horses, including Marildo, for the call of the DC International. Let's go to Dave Rodman.
All right, they're just about in. Dave Rodman does a great job in the Maryland tracks. He gets the great honor of announcing the Washington, D.C. International. Let's send it to Dave.
Binary Light moves in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Inside, Red Call goes out to the early lead as expected, showing speed there. Astudillo, now Marillo gets into gear, and Marildo moves through at the rail now, and Maryland Moon is next, followed by Turk Passer. Paradise Creek is settled back there with Beneficial second to last, and Binary Light is the trailer. Field is led by Red Call at the rail. Astudillo moves up to be a closer second. Turk Passer outside in third, and Zoman on the inside is Marildo, followed by Maryland Moon, and then it's back to Paradise Creek, who's back there now third, fourth to last, followed by Beneficial, and Binary Light is a trailer. But Red Call is scooting away again now to lead by a length to Astudillo. Out inside is Marildo next, followed outside by Turk Passer. It's back to Zoman, who's reserved only 4 lengths from the lead. Paradise Creek starts a bit of a bit on the outside, and it's back to Maryland Moon, Beneficial, and the last one is Binary Light, a dozen or more lengths off the lead. Red Call going along, assuring a decent pace. Up front, leads it by a length and a quarter. Marildo is shipped through along the rail now to grab second, and Astudillo is third. Outside, Turk Passer is fourth. Zoman, Maryland Moon races inside. Paradise Creek favorite about 5 lengths off the lead. Beneficial is second to last, and Binary Light's been in the back the whole way. They're into the far turn, and Red Call's getting lonely up front. He's scooted away now 2.5 to Marildo. Turk Passer, Astudillo. Paradise Creek now starts to rally, and here comes Paradise Creek 4 wide in the second flight. Beneficial's getting into the act 2, coming 5 wide into the stretch. They turn for home now. Red Call still the one to catch, but up on the outside, here's Paradise Creek, perched to pounce. Paradise Creek on the outside, just under, a confident hand ride up to Red Call. They're coming for the final borough, and Paradise Creek takes the lead and draws off at will from Red Call. Beneficial is running on in third, but Paradise Creek is headed to the wire, bounding away from this field. Red Call second and Beneficial. Paradise Creek, each stride moves them closer to the grass championship. 1:59 and 3 to time.
What What a running machine, Paradise Creek. And I think if you watched Pat Day very closely on the far turn, Chelsea, and watched his hands, they were unflinching.
It was vintage Pat Day. He sits there with a handful of horse. He never moved, never cocked his stick, looked back confidently. It was his all the way.
We'll make it official when we come back in just a moment. This afternoon with jockey Pat Day, and again we're going to take a look at this breathtaking performance. And again, he is in the yellow silks on the outside. And again, I ask you to keep your eyes on Pat Day's hands, Chelsea. They're just not moving. He's just inhaling the field effortlessly.
The only thing moving on Pat Day is his head as he looks under his shoulder there, trying to see if anyone's coming, because he knows he has Red Call, the leader, all the way measured. And it's just a matter to be sure that Beneficial, who wound up in the photo there for the place and show, wasn't coming too fast. But he hadn't even asked this horse to run. It was a public workout.
So it's unofficial at the DC International, but we do know that the winner is Paradise Creek. Red Call nosed out Beneficial for the place, and the European Invader finished third. Again, the time 1:59 3/5. Not official as yet at the DC International. As far as the Breeders' Cup is concerned, hey, he's 2-5 here. Maybe he'll be 3-5 at Churchill Downs.
Well, Bill Mott is in a delightful position. He can go in the mile race and face his old competitor Lure, or he can tackle the 1.5 miles, which is not maybe his best distance. As strongly as he closed there, 1.5 miles might not be what he likes.
Well, that'll be the only handicap in question with that horse. Can he get the 1.5 miles? And that'll be an interesting debate as we lead up to Breeders' Cup time. But let's shift gears once again and bring you back to live racing here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita as we set up the third of our live races, and that would be the Goodwood Handicap. The conditions, $200,000 the purse. It's a grade 2 at 1 1/8 miles for 3-year-olds and up. How about the field, Charles?
Well, there are 6 of them in this handicap. There's only a 5-pound spread on the weight, so they're pretty closely matched bunch. Turf performer Fastness drew the rail with Corey Black. Lickatil Hill, pretty steady sort of horse. He is 3-1 with Eddie Delahousse, and Bertrando, looking to get back to his old self, is 7-2. The consistent toss of the coin steps up in class here. He's 14-1. Stuka, who hasn't finished first in a race this year, gets Lafitte Penkai. He's 5-1. And Dramatic Gold, the horse we said is going so well, and the jockey Corey Nakatani, who's going so well, they are the favorites at 8-5.
And you're looking at Dramatic Gold. He is the current favorite here in the Goodwood, a 3-year-old who ran, I think he opened some eyes in the Pacific Classic when he was involved in a vicious speed duel at Del Mar and held gamely to be third, and then against straight 3-year-olds exploded in that Molson Million at Woodbine. And we're looking at that race here, and again, Corey Nakatani is the rider, and he has been white hot here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita, quickly establishing himself as a premier rider here in the West Coast, in a jockey colony just teeming with excellent riders. But there's other competition. Lickatil Hill, he's been running well, as just as the favorite has. Trainer is Art Sherman. Eddie D up. He's won 4 of his last 5, including the grade 2 Del Mar Budweiser Breeders' Cup Handicap. He's not nominated to the Breeders' Cup, so we'll have to wait and see how he does today and what his connections will do on that score. With me is Clement Hirsch, director here at Oak Tree. Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you, Bob.
Well, tell us what makes this meet and this racetrack here at Santa Anita so special.
Well, I think one thing that makes it special is this beautiful weather out here we're having. I don't imagine you're seeing that over the United States. What's really special about Oak Tree is it was started by horsemen, and all of the proceeds go to the benefit of the thoroughbred industry.
I know that many horses used this meet as a springboard to the Breeders' Cup. Last year there was a bunch of them. Kodashan, for example, and just a whole lot of horses came out, and the Hollywood Wildcat. But how about this year? You got a couple more, I think.
Yes, it looks like we have a couple of 2-year-olds, Serena's Song and Supremo, and then we have, of course, Hollywood Wildcat.
I think Soul of the Matter as well. So again, should be well stocked with Oak Tree horses. Thanks.
I hope so.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Bob.
We'll be back with more racing here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. Charles E. Canty, Trevor Denman, Bob Newmeyer, as we take a look at the field for the upcoming Goodwood Handicap. It's a beautiful sight. Southern California. Our coverage of the Goodwood Handicap is brought to you by Hollywood Park, where good times are a sure bet. Plenty of festivities. I don't know if Jockey Cam's involved in that particular ride, but A lot of fun here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. Time to dig deep, folks. After we saw Saratoga Gambler light up the board, we have long shots on our minds. 6 horses involved in this Goodwood handicap, and to seek out that value, we call on Trevor Denman for a Budweiser long shot.
From right out of the blue, Stuka, named after a World War II dive bomber by aviator Alan Paulson. Stuka had a bit of a bumpy ride throughout his 2-year career, winning just 4 of 15 career starts. Even his victory in this year's $1 million Santa Anita Handicap was anything but smooth. Stuka was awarded the victory after the Wicked North was DQ'd. Since then, he's yet to win in 4 starts. His best finish, a good third to Lickertal Hill at Del Mar. Trainer Gary Jones acknowledges his Colts up-and-down career, but says his Chargers ready to fly after posting a bullet 6-furlong work on Sunday.
Yeah, he's had his problems behind. He's funny about his surfaces. He seems to like Del Mar, and he seems to like Santa Anita, and Hollywood's just a little bit loose for him. And anytime a track gets loose for him, he gets kind of sore all over, body sore, and that's why I've never taken him in New York. I try to keep him on these firmer tracks.
So, with a firm strip, we're betting Stuka will overcome his turbulent past and soar to new heights here in the Goodwood as today's Budweiser long shot.
And there's a live shot of Stuka, and as Trevor discovered, a square price, 5-1, as we update the Auto Tote odds on this half dozen in the Goodwood. Chelsea?
Well, we have to talk about Bertrando here, one of the horses who is trying to come back. The public has still got confidence. He's 7-2. Lickertal Hill is at 5-2, but our favorite is still Dramatic Gold at 7-5.
The horses are walking up to the starting gate here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita. A lot of questions about Bertrando. Could he come back and be the horse that he was last year when he was the champion, led the Breeders' Cup Classic until Arkong came from the clouds to upset at a massive price, and there is Bertrando.
He had a difficult time in the Pacific Classic. He was involved in a suicidal speed duel, so you throw out that dismal finish. Then he shipped to New York for the Woodward. He went without Lasix. He ran very badly. He's back here in California. He's back on Lasix. He also has Gary Stevens back in the irons. Pat Valenzuela, who rode him in his last 3 starts, has been suspended. And Gary Stevens getting a bit of a ride there as Bertrando acts as though he does not want to load. Unusual behavior for this old veteran. Also wearing a shadow roll today with blinkers.
Doesn't give you the appearance of being comfortable on the track, though, does he, Chelsea, like he did last year. He's edgy. Gary's up on him, trying to settle him down. The assistant starters are working on Bertrando to load him without incident. But just see him spinning around, and it just doesn't seem to be the same horse that he was last year.
Well, certainly not in his last 2 starts. He came off to a good start in his first start of the year, but since then it has not been good.
Stakes and track record for the Goodwood. The stakes 147-1, shared by Cutlass Reality and Present Value. Track record, Star Spangled 145-4. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be this guy, Stuka, or a Budweiser long shot? He's in and out. He's unpredictable. When he's on his game, he's very tough.
His last race was pretty good, and he had a tremendous work since then, so I think we can look for a pretty good performance from him today.
Here's the now horse, Dramatic Gold. 6 of them in the Goodwood handicap. For the call, Trevor Denman.
Deal for the Goodwood, sent on their way to a perfect beginning, and Bertrando bounces straight to the lead. Getting up second as Toss of the Coin, extreme outside as Dramatic Gold settling down in third. Fastness, the grey at the rail, is 6 lengths off the leaders. Lickertal Hill back second last, and Stuka's taken to the back of the pack. 7 lengths would cover the lot. They run to the 7/8, and as usual, Bertrando acting as pacemaker out here, and he's going fast again. He's widened now. Bertrando's clear by 5. Toss of the Coin is racing second. Dramatic Gold almost ignoring Bertrando out here. He's just running his own race in third, about 8 lengths off that leader. Lickertal Hill is racing up on the outside of Fastness, and Stuka is last, 12 off the leaders. They move on to the backstretch in the Goodwood Handicap, and Bertrando clear now by just 3.5. Toss of the Coins cutting into that lead with every stride. Dramatic Gold going along very easy in third. He's on a long rein. Corey Nakatani takes a big long look back. He's happy with proceedings in third. Fastness Racing fourth. Lickertal Hill is fifth. 8 lengths off them and 2 back to Stuka. They run to the 3/8 and Bertrando 1.5 lengths in front of Toss of the Coin. Dramatic Gold. Corey Nakatani has not moved on him, but Dramatic Gold is closing in on the leaders ominously now in third. He's breathing down their leg. Nakatani's looking backward more than forward. I don't think he can believe it. He's still cruising, and he takes the lead with 1/4 mile to go. They swing for home. Whoever beats Dramatic Gold will win it. He's cocking his ears back and forth and kicks on for home. Toss of the Coin. Bertrando trying to dig deep down on the inside and come back. Dramatic Gold on the outside. Bertrando and Toss of the Coin coming back at him. Bertrando's run a huge race today. Suddenly Dramatic Gold can't go on with it, and Bertrando's come back at the rail. Bertrando's won it an extra. Dramatic Gold. Toss of the Coin third. Then Lickertal Hill, Stuka, and Fastness was last. Well, there it is. Bertrando comes back. Dramatic Gold looked to have them in the palm of his hand there, but he didn't quicken when asked, and he settles for second. The time in the board, 1:46 and 72/100. Bob?
Wow. Well, he might not have looked too comfortable going into the gate, but how does he look now?
He looks like a very game and brave racehorse. He looked as though he might have been finished going into the turn. Gary Stevens had the reins kind of driving at him. Toss of the Coin and Dramatic Gold ranged up to him. Looked like they were going to blow by and leave him, but the old champ reached down for the class he's got, and here he came through the stretch. Let's look again.
Chelsea, it looked like Dramatic Gold 3 wide. Corey Nakatani oozing confidence here. Could name his margin of victory. But now he's in a furious hand ride, and Gary Stevens hasn't given up on the rail.
Nor, and Toss of the Coin runs a game one in the middle till he gets jostled around, but it's Bertrando. Is it Gary Stevens being back on him? Is it the Lasix again? Were the last two just bad luck? Don't know, but he's back and glad to see it.
And will he be supplemented now to the Breeders' Cup? We'll try to find some answers for those questions. But the winner, the former champion, Bertrando, he is back. The winning Bertrando with Gary Stevens. Welcome back to our coverage of the Goodwood Handicap. It's brought to you by Hollywood Park, where good times are a sure bet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the rider's claim of foul. The rider of number 4, Toss of the Coin, has made a claim of foul against the first 2 place finishers on the grounds of court.
We have a claim of foul that has just been announced by the rider of the 3rd place horse, Toss of the Coin, against Bertrando and Dramatic Gold. So this is not official as yet. I want to point out this is not a steward's inquiry. This is a jockey's objection. Toss of the Coin against Bertrando and/or Dramatic Gold. For the replay, let's go back to Trevor.
Well, I certainly didn't see anything. This is probably going to be a frivolous claim of foul, but Alex Solis obviously thinks there is something. That's him between horses on the outside. Dramatic Gold at the rail. Bertrando. Toss of the Coin between horses. Now let's see if we can catch it here. I tell you what does happen a little later on in the stretch. You'll see Dramatic Gold on the outside. He's going to shift in just slightly and get in tight quarters here with Toss of the Coin, but really I don't think it's going to be enough for the stewards to turn this one around. You see Dramatic Gold running in just a couple of inches here. Bertrando's going straight as an arrow at the rail. He's certainly not involved, and right there you can see Toss of the Coin in just a little tight, but probably nothing's going to happen with this one. Now let's see if we can take a look at that one from a head-on, which always tells you a whole lot more. Dramatic Gold on the outside in the gold sleeves. Toss of the Coin, the blue cap between horses. Bertrando at the rail. They've all got plenty of room right here as we look at them. Bertrando on the inside shifts out just fractionally. Now watch Dramatic Gold. He's going to start running in at a slight angle. Toss of the Coin, though, here still has nothing to complain about at this stage. And right here is about as close as they get. He bobbles inches either way. Alex Solis kind of rises in the saddle, but I would be very, very surprised if the stewards take down either Dramatic Gold or the winner Bertrando. Probably nothing's going to happen. Chelsea?
Yeah. Well, we've got a little speculation going on right here. I've got Corey Nakatani, who is aboard Dramatic Gold, and David Hoffman's the trainer. They've been bickering the whole time, deciding whether to go to the Breeders' Cup. Corey, what do you think?
I think the horse definitely deserves an opportunity in the Breeders' Cup. I think today I waited a little bit on him, and I think that it might have cost him a little bit. I probably should have just went on with him and let him do his business. And I think we learned something from him today. I tried to wait a little bit, and next time we'll just run with him, and they're going to have to outrun him.
David, do you think he can move forward off this race?
Well, I don't know that he can move forward. A mile and a quarter might be on the outside of what he can do. After watching today's races, there was no excuses from quarter pole to the wire. I mean,
well, the jury's out on Dramatic Gold, and we'll go back to Bob.
And the jury's out on the official. The numbers are still blinking. The stewards are still watching these head-on shots of the stretch run here at the Goodwood. We'll try to sort it all out when we come back here on ESPN. Of the Breeders' Cup Classic has changed with the emergence of Bertrando winning in a photograph over Dramatic Gold. It is official. The stewards did not seek to disqualify either he or Dramatic Gold, so it's official. Bertrando, Dramatic Gold, and toss of the coin. Let's go to Charles.
All right, here is Eddie Nahum, the breeder and owner of Bertrando, and Gary Stevens, who was successful reuniting with him today. Gary, what made the difference?
Well, it was good to be back on him. I didn't feel any difference from the horse that I rode last year. He showed a lot of guts, a lot of determination. He actually got past, dropped back to third and mid-stretch, and he's got the full cut blinkers on, doesn't have any holes, and once he was able to see the other horses come to him, he was able to focus himself back on getting by him and just showed a lot of heart.
He really responded well. Here he is on the rail. Eddie, this is a big show of courage. Now the question is, are you going to show courage and put up the dough to supplement him to the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Well, we're going to think about it real hard now, and I'd like to go, but I got a partner, and he's got to say yes, too, and we'll see what happens in a few days, how he comes out of it. And
all right, well, whatever happens, we're really glad to see this nice champion back on track. Congratulations to you all, and back to Bob.
Well, he certainly would make the Breeders' Cup Classic a more interesting race. It is wide open as it stands now, and you can perhaps, if they choose to supplement, put up the hundreds of thousands of dollars to run him in the Breeders' Cup, and he would add another chapter into what is shaping up as a very mysterious and interesting race. A lot of folks interested in Caesar's future book odds on some of those Breeders' Cup races. And these are some of the numbers before the action today. Cherokee Run, well backed at 3-1. Sir Hutch, I imagine, might not go. Bob Baffert told me yesterday if he ran poorly today in the Ancient Title, he would not send him. Of course, that was yesterday. We'll see what Baffert does with Sir Hutch in Cardmania. Meredith with a choice there. In the turf, Paradise Creek at 9-5. I'm sure he'll be hammered lower than that after another tour de force by that champion today. Grand Flotilla, who operates here out of Santa Anita, held at 9-1. And Tikkanen, who won the Man of War in the Breeders' Cup Preview, he is at 10-1 in the Classic. Soul of the Matter is 3-1. Colonial Affair 4-1. Dramatic Gold 8-1. Again, these odds before the action today. Storyline here at Santa Anita. Bertrando back in the winner's circle. Boys and mares are warming up at Keeneland, and that's where we will be on ESPN tomorrow with the prestigious Spinster Stakes. 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 o'clock Pacific, featuring phone chatter from the West, dispute from the East. Remind your fans of ESPN a review of all of the big college football games, including Auburn's upset of #1 Florida. So an upset in college football and a couple of upsets here in our triple header of racing, certainly in the sprint. But Charles, a great day of racing, and I don't know if we've solved any of the Breeders' Cup puzzles, but certainly it's getting more mysterious with each passing day.
Well, we certainly defined a lot of the characters, and I think after a few days here, when everyone sees how their horses come out of the race and get through discussing things with their partners and all the hemming and hawing we usually get, we'll know what we'll do.
All right, let's make the DC International official, and the winner, of course, is the brilliant Paradise Creek. And as public choice, 240, 220, 210. Red Call won that close photo for second, 540, 210, and Beneficial at 210 to show. So we had a prohibitive favorite in Paradise Creek win the DC International, and we had a bomb away in Saratoga Gambler with Martin Pedrosa win the Ancient Title Breeders' Cup Handicap. But a fascinating day of racing. We saw a little bit of everything, a long shot, a favorite, and the return of Bertrando, $360,000. As we watch Paradise Creek, Charles C., the owners will have to pony up to run in the Classic.
Well, that's a lot of money, but his return today was about as triumphant as Jean-Bertrand Aristide back into Port-au-Prince today. This horse came through on the rail, and everybody's glad to see him.
But Charles, he can't see Trevor Denman and all of us here at ESPN. Bob Newmeyer saying so long. Racing to the Breeders' Cup, presented by Thrifty Car Rental. Today's live racing triple header has been brought to you by Budweiser. Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. By Keeneland, source of the classic horse. Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. And by the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, assuring the highest racing standards. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS.